So, Alex, when you came in for the audition, I'm going to shoot right to that.
Mm-hmm.
We are auditioning a lot of great people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what was your experience of the audition? Can you tell me?
Well, I did the well. Here's what, and this is kind of cool. When my agent called and said that there was the audition, and I went and I saw a lot of guys that I knew, a lot of guys that I usually go up against when, I go on auditions, and they told me what the deal was. They told me what the number of episodes there would be, and they said, here's the one caveat. The one caveat is that you're going to have to kiss Louie Anderson. And I said, okay. So I called my wife and I said, Van, I'm auditioning for this show. Blah. I told her what the concept was. I said, but the one caveat is that I'm going to have to kiss Louie Anderson. So she said, wait to see if they offer you the job. Well, we did it. Went to the call back the next day. I was nervous as hell because you and Jonathan were in the room. And I remember walking into the room and seeing you sitting there and going, what the hell is this? And I was so nervous. So
You
we did the
were?
art. Oh my God,
Oh my
man!
God!
Let me tell you
You
something.
didn't
Because
seem nervous.
oh my God, I was so freaking and because I've watched you forever, knew who you were, watched Family Feud, was a big fan of that cartoon show, all that stuff, and there you were sitting there, big as life, and and there's Jonathan, of course, doing his laid back thing, and I'm walking in the room, and then there's Louie Anderson, and I'm like, oh shit, can I say that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah,
Oh
you
crap,
can say anything
there's
you
Louis,
want. You can
there's
say anything
Louie
you want.
Anderson. So we did the audition, and the next day I'm working a commercial. So my agent called and said, Alex, they're going to offer you the job. I said, whoa. So I called my wife right away. I said, Vanessa, they're going to offer me the job. She said, how many episodes? I said, 4 episodes. I said, but like I told you yesterday, the caveat is I got to kiss Louie Anderson. And she said, well, pucker up, motherfucker.
Ah! Ah! Oh, what a great story.
Oh
Oh, what a
man,
great
I
story.
was so freaking and on the day, I don't know if you remember, on the day that we actually shot that bit was election day. And
Yes,
Trump had just gotten elected. And I
right.
remember it being such a different atmosphere on the set. But man, I'm gonna tell you, you and Jonathan made that bit so smooth. When I left that morning, Vanessa gave me a big bottle of scope and some chapstick because she said she wanted my breath to be fresh and my lips to be soft. And man,
Well,
I
they
mean,
were.
yeah, you were too. And I remember,
Go ahead, go
I
ahead.
remember how great Jonathan was in terms of. I guess he kind of sensed my anticipation because I never had in 30 years of working, I never had an on-screen kiss. I tell people all
Me
the time.
neither. Me
So there you
neither.
go. My first on-screen kiss is with Louie Anderson. God darn it,
That
man,
should
that's
be the
something.
beginning of your resume.
It's going to be on my tombstone, man. My first
Ah,
on-screen kiss was with Louis Anderson.
uh,
So
well,
yeah,
that was good advice, Vanessa. It
yeah.
was encouraging, and she was cool with it. And Jonathan really did make us all feel so safe. He was the
Oh
greatest
man.
director, you
Oh
know.
man. Oh
So,
man.
Alex, I when you got we just clicked when you came in the audition.
Yeah.
We just clicked. I go,
Yeah.
this is the guy. I mean, I didn't really have to see anyone else. I think we did see everybody who we're supposed to see because that's the right thing. But right away, I knew. I go, oh, this is the guy because I felt the most warmth from you,
Well,
the
I'm
most,
glad.
sincerity
Mm-hmm.
and honesty and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff and the no big deal thing.
Oh man.
I
Well.
think it's a no big deal, not just because I was a man, that wasn't the big deal. But they hardly ever have interesting couples like this on any kind
Yes.
of
Yes.
comedy.
Yes. Yes.
So I think I feel like I was a part of something really special.
Yes. And I thought that's what made it work so well because it was something you had never seen, no one had ever seen before on TV.
Hmm.
And it was so easy to play the nice guy because, man, I'm telling you, I genuinely loved Christine. I genuinely had affection for her. And
I mean, I think that's why it's so cool, Alex, that you could say that because that means that I did my job really
yeah.
good.
Oh man.
That that you didn't see Louie there, that you
No.
really saw Christine. Yeah.
No, I never saw Louis. I never thought of it as being Louis. I always thought of it as being Christine. I really did. It was
Yeah.
so that part for me
How
was
did you
so
make that
easy.
work? How did that happen?
I tell you, ma'am, tell you what you did was you were always honest with the character. Christine had a humility about her that made her extraordinarily attractive. I mean, we could
Oh,
talk
so
physical
sweet.
and all that jazz. We can go
Yeah.
by what our models are and what all that encompasses. But the inner person that she was a caring mother. She was a woman that was hurt. She had been hurt. She lost her husband in such an ugly way, but yet she had room to adopt these two twin boys. And and man, that kind of humanity, that kind of sweetness was just always appealing to me. It was just easy to do. It was so freaking easy. My biggest fear was I never wanted to let you all down. I never wanted nobody to walk away and say, ugh, I don't know why we hired that guy. Ugh. Because it was
Yeah.
easy working with you. It was extraordinarily easy working with
Oh, you're
John.
sweet.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
I think
Oh,
John the best director
oh
ever.
my God. Man, I pray that I am privileged to once again get a chance to do that. And Zach Galifianakis. You
Yes,
think of him
great
as a
actor.
movie star, and you've seen him and all the wonderful stuff he did, but then you meet the cat, and he's just a humble artist. Who
He really
loves
is.
his work. And that was so easy to get into that flavor, to get into that whole groove. It just, man, it was the best job I've ever had in 30 years of doing this stuff. It's the best gig I've ever had.
And with this was it turned into how many episodes for you then?
It turned four the first season, eight the second season, and then nine the final season.
Now that's a nice thing.
Oh man,
Four
oh
eight
man,
nine. That's your
oh.
lucky number. Four
Uh,
eight nine.
you know what? I'm gonna play the lottery today.
Yeah,
I'm
four
gonna
eight
play the
nine.
lottery. Yeah.
Yeah, play that lot. Play
There you
that
go.
triple.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
So Alex, when you always have such a great attitude. When you come on, where were you born?
I was born in Chicago.
Oh
And I
yeah,
I grew up in rural Illinois, in a little town just outside of Chicago called Pembroke. And in
yeah.
those days, my father and his mother bought land in that area, and we lived in two railroad boxcars that he somehow nailed together, and that's how we got started. Uh,
Wow.
and I never forget the first time we had running water when I could go in and flush the toilet. I thought that was the biggest thing in the world, man, was to flush the toilet.
Yeah,
And it was, and when you were talking earlier about how you grew up in the projects and you saw people as people, so that's how we grew up too. People were
yeah.
just people. There were white people that lived out there. In fact, I grew up as a Mennonite
Oh,
in the Mennonite church, and our pastor, who was an incredible role model for me, was a white guy. So I didn't know that they were supposed to be evil, or we were supposed to have any dislike for them, because I never experienced that. I just knew them as people. I just knew that I loved that guy as my role model. His son was my best friend growing up, so I didn't know any of that crap. Uh, so when you grow up in a rural town like that, you really appreciate the things that you accomplish. You really squeeze those things really tight. You don't try to.
yeah.
You don't think of yourself. And see, that was the great thing about this show. Nobody acted like a big star. Everybody was just who they were. I mean, we talked about everything. We just kind of hung around. It was great. One of my favorite things that happened during the run was when we all went to dinner that night. You remember that?
Yeah,
But for
yeah,
the final season, I
yeah.
could not believe I was sitting there with Louie Anderson and Zach Galifianakis and John,
Wow.
and I thought, man, does it get any better than this? Shit, pinch me and wake me up, man. You know,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I mean it's like a family on
yeah,
that show.
yeah,
I
yeah,
really felt like it was pure family.
yeah,
And so, this is a to make this relationship work, the writers just did such a great job to give us situations where I met your family and the
Yes.
whole thing. And that, for Christine, that was really difficult to
Mm-hmm.
go and meet your family. She just wanted to be liked.
Mm-hmm.
Christine just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be liked all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, when and then we had the whole wedding planned, and then for you to be this successful, carpet king. That was really fun too, and
Oh
so
man.
so interesting. And just I spilled the wine
Oh
all
man.
over your carpet, and I'm
Oh man.
horrified.
Oh.
And
Oh.
and then you get to try a new product. It was really all clever,
Yeah. Yeah.
and fun stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what was your favorite episode? Do you
Oh,
have one?
I'm my favorite scene. My favorite scene, and I go back now and look at it, was the wedding. We don't
Hmm.
say a word to each other, but in
Hmm.
our faces, we saw the entire relationship of Ken and Christine. We
Yeah,
they never speak. There's never a verbalization of I do or exchanging of vows, but in our faces, there's a shot cut to you, then he cuts back to me, and I'm doing this, and you're doing this, and that says everything. And to me, that is my favorite moment in all the seasons. Ah, I
yeah,
love that moment. Breaks my heart. Breaks
yeah.
my heart. That one, and the one where we're dancing at the restaurant,
Oh, that's a
and
beautiful one
oh,
too.
you say I feel like a fairy princess, and Ken says maybe you are. Man,
Uh,
to me that was the show. That's who they were. That's
yeah.
really who they were to me.
And I know Mike likes that episode where we're at the Reagan Library
Yeah, yeah.
and the art department. Oh my God, they made it seem like it really was the Reagan Library. When I first walked in there, I go, "Is this or are they closed? They closed up for us, and this is the library." It just felt so real.
It was great.
Um, uh, that scene when we're leaving there
Yes,
is that
yes,
was a very
yes,
big scene
yes,
because Christine realizes that there's more there,
yes,
and she hasn't been hugged since her husband committed suicide.
yes, yes,
So it was
yes.
a really important scene. I love that scene.
And do you? I don't know how many times you've seen it, but do you see your face when Ken
Yeah,
hugs Christine? Man, your
yeah,
face read everything. It is unbelievable. That and in the scene just prior to that, Ken offers her a jelly bean.
yes,
They're sitting there on the bench, and he offers
yeah,
her a
yeah,
jelly bean.
yes.
I thought,
Oh, I
man,
love that scene where we're on that bench.
oh
Yeah,
man, it was so simple, and that was the beauty of this show. Everything was there. It was just so simple. It was just
hmm,
right there. It wasn't forced. We didn't do any big, sitcom kind of acting. We were all just people, and we all
yeah.
just lived in the world, and that made it so. To me, it made it so cool, so easy for me.
So I agree with all that, but in the show, um, you had another family,
Hmm.
and so that therefore you had an ex-wife,
Hmm.
and your real wife is named Vanessa, who I've
Vanessa,
met.
right? Uh huh.
Yeah, I love her. How
Uh huh.
is she? Is she
She's
good?
outstanding. She
Yeah.
went to one of the protest marches today.
Oh, she did?
She did, yeah.
Well, when she gets back, I'd love for her to come on and talk about because people don't know this,
Mm-hmm.
but that's Ken's real wife who played his ex-wife on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Hmm.
how was that for you guys together? Did
Listen,
you like that?
we found out that she got the role on our anniversary. We were in Palm
Oh
Springs.
my God.
We were having dinner, and there was no one in the restaurant. And the restaurant was it was closing down. We were the last ones, practically the last ones. And her cell phone rang, and they told her she got the role. And man, we alarmed up the restaurant. They were like, "What the heck?" And Trust me, she worried the hell out of me until she shot that thing. She was so nervous, so
She thought she
nervous.
was going to screw it up.
Oh
Wasn't that
my
it?
God. She said,
She was
uh,
terrific
she
in
was
it.
not, you and I had gotten to the point where you would say anything and I just, okay, that's Louis. He's doing his thing. But poor Vanessa, she was like trying to stick to the script word perfect. And when you would go off on a thing, she go, what is he saying? What is he saying? Babe, that's just Louis. Just go with it. Just go with it. She was
And we
so
did. It was,
nervous. Oh, y'all
yeah,
were
she did a
beautiful.
great job. It
Oh,
was good.
it was beautiful.
I think I did tell her that too. I go, just relax. You got this. You
Oh,
already got the part, you know.
yeah, yeah. So
You'd
yeah, it
have to
was great.
really screw up to lose it. I'll tell
Yeah.
you, you'd have to really screw up to lose it.
And what's interesting is that she actually auditioned. And I asked Jonathan, could she audition? And so she didn't just get it because of me.
No,
She got it because she
Jonathan would
auditioned.
not.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan wouldn't give any part to anybody for that for it
Mm-hmm.
unless they were right for it. I've never seen him. That's not who he is. I mean,
Right.
he's very generous in letting people do it. I think we're really lucky to work with Jonathan and
Oh
Zach, but
man. Oh,
Jonathan as a director, wow. I
oh
mean,
man.
Alex,
Oh
that was a
man.
dream come true because
Oh
you and
man.
I were both in uncharted water,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
just tried to imagine what my mom would be like in the situation,
Really.
and then yeah, like she would dote over her kids, and that's kind of what Christine did until she stopped it, which I thought was a crucial part up there in when we were at the thing in Sacramento,
Mm-hmm.
where I had to make a speech, and I
Mm-hmm.
realized while I'm making the speech
Mm-hmm.
that I don't belong in Bakersfield anymore.
Mm-hmm.
My life's
Mm-hmm.
in Denver now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that was a beautiful
Oh
set of
man.
circumstances. And
Mm-hmm.
then us leaving on that day,
Mm-hmm.
packing up and
Mm-hmm.
leaving. That's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful scene in there too.
Now, what do you think would have happened to Ken and Christine had the show kept going?
You mean when they bring it back?
Oh, when they bring it back, yeah. What do you think has happened
Yeah.
to them when they come back?
Let's start that thing where they're going to
Yeah.
bring it back. Let's get
Yes.
people out there that are
Yes.
watching this to demand that they come back.
Yes.
Well, I think that you and I would have the most wonderful life together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wanted to do another season with you and me as a spin-off, and Martha maybe,
Yes.
and then Zach could
Yes.
show up. Zach, or Chip and Dale could show up anytime they want, or the DJ twins.
Mm-hmm.
But we would we would go to Denver,
Mm-hmm.
and you and I would get in your business and screw it up over and over. And then those are the kind of things. I mean, I can see Christine just starting to live her life there because I
Yes.
think when her husband died, her life was arrested. It was
Mm-hmm.
stopped,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted Christine. Maybe she would run for president. Maybe she would run for a council person. I
Yes.
see. I
Yes.
want to bring Christine Baskets back,
Mm-hmm.
and I want her to. I want you and her to continue that journey.
Mm-hmm.
But what can you do? I'm so happy it's on Hulu
Yeah.
because people are watching it like mad, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to do this show. I just did one with Martha and Sally Sue, and I did one with Heidi, who did
Ah.
props.
Yeah.
Heidi said to say
Yeah.
hello. All
I
of them
loved
said to say
Heidi.
hello.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, she's
Oh
so
my God.
wonderful.
Oh my God.
Um,
Are are
Cam,
John are John and Sally Sue back to work on the movie? Are they
I
back to
don't know
work
what
yet?
they're. I'm not sure. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
talked to them about what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything changed for everybody, right?
Right, for everybody. Yeah.
During the pandemic. And
Mm-hmm.
so let me ask you, what have you been doing? What were you doing right before the pandemic?
I was working on a play. I was in a play. Guess who's coming to dinner?
Oh,
They
that's a wonderful play.
There is a stage version, and they were doing it at a small theater in Santa Monica. and they asked me out the blue, and we were in our second week of rehearsal when we stopped. They had just put the set in, and we had to stop. And
What part were you playing?
I was playing the dad. I was playing
Yeah, I
the
thought you were
dad.
playing the
Yeah,
dad. Yeah,
which was a great role. It was
it is a
and
great role.
a timely play, man. You think that it may be dated, but it
Oh,
wasn't. It was very very timely.
yeah,
Um,
that's a beautiful play and
yeah, yeah.
a beautiful movie and a beautiful story.
Oh, it was
And
great.
yeah,
It
and
was
what
great.
and what are you doing during the pandemic? Are you are you just you guys hunkered down and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've been quarantined for. You see how long my hair has got.
yeah,
We have been quarantined, and the nice thing about being with someone for as many years as I've been with Vanessa is that you really those other kind of worries. You don't really have to be lonely. We have
yeah,
grown closer
right,
by being
yeah.
quarantined than
Oh, that's
you
so
would think we'd
nice.
get on each other's nerves. But when I get mad, I
Yeah,
go out to the guest house. When she gets mad, she goes to her office in the back, and it's been great. And what else I've learned is that a lot of the stuff that we fought about really wasn't stuff we should fight about.
I
So
agree with that.
it's been it, man,
That's
man.
good.
I mean, we are more in love after 24 years than we were
Wow.
ever before. So you know.
Chip, Chip, talking to Ken. For God's sakes. I thought you might get a kick out of that.
I love that.
Sometimes when I, sometimes when was before the pandemic, I'd be in the airport and go, Chip!
uh, so,
And it always made me laugh. It always made me laugh. And I just talked to Zach and he said to say hello also. He
oh
knew that I
man,
was doing this with you.
oh man, love that
Alex,
cat.
what else? Do you want anything else you want to say about your experience?
Uh,
Uh,
on baskets,
yeah, just anything that you know, what's the thing you miss?
I miss the people. I miss
Yeah,
going to work. I miss the costume ladies. I miss the hair and
yeah,
makeup. I miss
yeah.
going to work and never knowing what the hell you're going to say that day. and and always the great thing about that was always having to challenge myself to be where you were every day. And I man, and just and having a gig that you love. You've been doing this a long time, Louis, so you know. You've worked some gigs, but you go, oh dear God, do I have to do this today?
Yeah,
And then you have one where you can't wait. You first thing you do is
yes,
look at the call sheet to see what time you
yeah.
come, so you
I
can't wait to
never,
get there.
I was never this happy going to work at
Oh,
5:30 as I was on that show.
oh my
It
God.
didn't, but it didn't bother me to get up
Oh
at
my
5 in
God.
the morning or
Oh my God.
4:30 because I love the show.
Oh,
You know what else? That scene in the kitchen that was very emotional for me.
yes.
You know that scene caused me to write a book because during that time when I was hugging you, I asked myself a question. That's why I got so emotional. Was my mom ever this happy?
Wow. And
And
what was
so
the
I went
answer?
home. I went home and wrote the letter. I wrote that letter to my mom where
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
told her I was playing her. But
Uh-huh.
I think, and then, what's so funny? After I asked myself that question, was my mom ever that happy? Somebody sent, and I don't know, I can't remember who it was, a picture of my mother as a young teenager or someone in their 20s. And
Wow.
she looked, I put it, Christine and her side by side on my Instagram.
Wow.
And my mom looked that happy. So it was almost like a gift from God or my mom or whatever you want to believe in. But I really felt like that was the best thing. I just loved it. I loved it, loved it, loved it. It was really beautiful. And I wrote this book called Hey Mom, just asking her all the questions and telling her, that I was playing her and how much I appreciate this mother. And I have people say to me all the time, and I'm not trying to be egotistical, but this woman said to me, my son would wants to have Christina's his mother instead of me. And I thought, I laughed. But, people really fell in love with Christine, as I did. I had to fall in love with the character too. And I fell in love with you. You were the most wonderful
Oh man.
actor that I could have ever hoped for.
No, I'm the one that's blessed, my friend. I'm the one that got the blessing, and
No, that's
I
not
really,
true.
I
You
can't tell
can't
you.
take away my blessing with your
We can
blessing.
let's share the blessing. It's
All
big
right.
enough for
I
both
love
of
you,
us.
man.
Love you
All
too,
right.
man. Mwah.
Mwah.
Mwah. God bless you,
I
man.
love you. Love
Talk
you.
soon.
Take care.
All
Say
right,
hi to
buddy.
Vanessa.
I
We'll
will.
hook this up so she can talk about that day when
Absolutely.
she had that scene. I'd love it. And
Absolutely.
stay safe. And let's stay in better touch. Why not?
We will definitely.
All
Thank you,
right.
Louie.
God
Love you,
bless.
man.
All right.
Love you.
Love you
Peace.
too. Peace. Alex, thank you so much. That was so much fun.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm trying to get everybody to do this
mm-hmm.
because I just think it's important that everybody gets to say their piece. And,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a little bit from the school of let's talk this up and see if we can get somebody to do the show. Let's see if
Yes.
Hulu gets enough eyeballs on the show that they want to do another season.
Now, Louis, let me ask you: have you noticed that people are calling you and talking to you more about the show and asking you
Yeah.
what happened? Why is it
Hmm.
over? You know?
Well, I tell them the truth. We just didn't. We were lucky to be on for 4 years because it was a show that was kept on by a wonderful network of FX. Because we just didn't get the eyeballs on it.
Right. Right.
I say it's not a show for everyone,
Right.
but it's a show for everyone who needs it.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know. So
Mm-hmm.
Ken, and then that's what I wanted to do with the spinoff is make it a much happier show and not
Mm-hmm.
so much sadness. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think the sadness was a little hard sometimes. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
in. I'm talking with Jonathan now about doing another show. We're in the
Mm-hmm.
early stages. I
Mm-hmm.
said, Jonathan, why? What are we thinking? FX wants to do another show with me. Let's make another show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's get the band back
Back
together.
together.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we don't. Zach is a busy guy, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't. But let's do another show where
Mm-hmm.
we can either. I don't know why we can. I mean, we're all. But I just tell people, I go, we were lucky to have it on
We
that
were.
long.
We were.
But I say you should write the letters. The letters matter.
Okay.
Emails
Okay.
and letters, they matter.
Okay.
Like, please bring
Okay.
FX back.
Okay.
Um, I think it's a show ahead of its time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
they were the
know?
most unusual couple on television. And it's interesting. You
Yeah,
just said there was sadness, but I think what made the joy so relatable was that it came out of the sadness. And wherever there was sadness, there was
yeah,
always some measure of joy that paid off for us in terms
yeah.
of making folk feel good. You know,
Yes, there
you
was
know
a.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan was a craftsman,
Oh
and is
man,
a craftsman. You
man,
know, he
man.
guided us through a needle. We were like a thread in a needle,
Mm,
and
mm.
you know, he brought joy, and he really did that last season. Boy, the
Oh.
writers and him just knocked it out of the park.
Oh my God! Oh my God! I love my favorite episode of the last season was Return to Denver when we
Yeah,
went back and we went and I have the
I love
cutouts,
that. I
from
love
the
that.
carpet
Yeah,
store. So
yeah. Oh,
uh
I'm glad.
oh
I
so
love that. I love that a lot. I love those scenes in that big warehouse where I'm sitting on the
uh
carpet.
uh
I
uh
just live for that scene. It was a beautiful scene.
uh and you could just see Christine and Ken running the carpet empire and what that would
Yeah.
become, and having a
But then
big
also
cutout of.
they're yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, do they adopt a, does something happen where there's a baby who needs Christine and Ken? I mean, I think it's endless.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
endless,
yeah.
endless.
Do the girls have a child?
Let's keep our fingers crossed
There you go, my man.
and
There you go.
send out those prayers and good thoughts and let's come back. Let's get back on the air together. I know I'd love
Absolutely,
to work with you again. I'd love to work
absolutely,
with you again.
absolutely. But I love you, man.
Yeah. I
You
love
are
you
you were
too,
the
Alex.
best, man. And I appreciate you having me on. Call me
I
anytime,
love it. All right.
anytime.
Give
All right,
Vanessa
buddy.
a hug for
I
me. All
will.
right.
You stay safe,
All right.
man. All right.
All right. You too. Love
Peace.
you.
Love you more.
Bye.
Peace.